Hello and welcome, I'm Vicky Lech and we're looking at new research from law firm Slater and Gordon that shows a disturbing rise in holiday food poisoning cases and increased claims for sickness as a result. I'm joined in our studio today by lawyer Catherine Allen from Slater and Gordon, travel expert Simon Calder and Sam Upton, who had his very own rather unpleasant experience on a recent holiday. So welcome to you all. Firstly, Sam, thank you very much for being here because you've only just recently recovered. What happened?
Well, just recently went away for a trip with 6 of my friends. I went to Cancun in Mexico. Beautiful resort, amazing place, amazing weather. And then day 4, woke up with some really bad stomach cramps and then immediately threw up straight away and a really acute diarrhoea. And that just continued every 15 minutes for sort of 6 to 8 hours. I couldn't keep anything down, a sip of water at all, so I got really severely dehydrated. The local doctor came out to see me. He said I needed to go to the hospital to get some urgent treatment. So they popped me in the ambulance, which was scary in itself. Yeah. Got to the hospital. When they tested my stool, they found a parasite in my stool, and that's what was making me so ill.
It's awful. It's a nightmare on so many different levels. Being ill like that is horrible anyway, but your entire holiday, I assume, then was wiped out.
Yeah, because I had to go into antibiotics then. And I just wanted to sleep every time. So as soon as I got back to the hotel, I had to sleep during the day. I had no appetite whatsoever. I couldn't drink any alcohol, which I wouldn't have wanted to anyway at that point. I couldn't be in the sun that much because I was just so tired and lethargic. So got 3 days of the holiday and then the rest of it's write-off.
Catherine, it's so sad. It's a sad story, isn't it? Is it familiar sound
It is,
to you?
all too familiar and backed up by the research, which shows that 1 in 4 Brits who regularly travel abroad ends up with an illness like Sam, and 1 in 6 end up being hospitalised, which is quite a staggering statistic, really.
And Sam, for example, would you advise Sam to make a claim? Because it's not necessarily the thing I would be thinking of straight away. Well, I've been ill. I'd be feeling very sorry for myself and my holiday was ruined. But I wouldn't think I could make a claim. But you can. You
can, yes. You can bring a claim if you can prove a link between the food you've eaten at the hotel and your illness. Then you can bring a claim for compensation, and the amount that you recover will depend on the seriousness of the illness. And unfortunately, some people end up with long-term symptoms as a result of this illness. It can cause kidney damage. You often have people with irritable bowel syndrome afterwards. So you certainly want to be claiming compensation if you've had a significant illness.
Sam, you've got the all clear, haven't you? Just so we know that you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine, but it still took a long time. So I had to take antibiotics for 10 days, and then I was run down, so I got a cold and then a chest infection. So, you know, all in all, it's a sort of 5 to 6 weeks altogether.
What sort of evidence would Sam need then if he wanted to go ahead?
Well, he's got some of the most important evidence, which is a stool sample, which shows the presence of the parasite. If you're ill, I would recommend that you go to a clinic and insist on a stool sample being taken. If there are other people in the resort who you notice are ill or not looking quite right, make sure you get their details so that we can contact them afterwards to get supporting evidence. And if you incur any expenses as a result of the illness, such as medical expenses or taxi expenses getting to and from clinics, keep your documentation and keep a log of your illness, because if we ask you a few weeks after the event exactly what happened, what food did you eat, what made you ill, you'll probably have forgotten. So keeping a diary at the time when you're ill is actually really important.
And actually, if you're with people, they could even be doing that for you.
Absolutely.
If you're a bit dazed
Absolutely.
and not really with it.
Yeah.
Simon, I don't think there's anywhere in the world that you haven't been. He's been everywhere and back again, haven't you?
Well, I wish I had, but look, I have been to the top 3 places in the Slater and Gordon survey, which is Spain, Turkey, Egypt. Now, Spain you would expect to be top of the list because far more British people go on package holidays there than anywhere else. Turkey and Egypt are interesting because they've got far fewer tourists going there, but a much higher rate of problems there. And I put it down to several things. First of all-inclusive hotels, particularly places maybe you're finding a DIY holiday online therefore there's nobody checking the standards. But it can, of course, happen even in where you've gone through a proper package holiday company. You're going to have problems there. My rules are be quite circumspect about the hotel buffet, because that's a source of many problems. Be especially wary of salad and indeed raw fruit. And there's an old adage for travellers, which is peel it, boil it or forget it, because that can most certainly be a problem. You've got to make sure all your documentation is in order, so got a good travel insurance policy, which I'm sure was important for you, Sam. And if you're in Europe, then take the European Health Insurance card. Take a few basic medical essentials if you do get ill, and really this feeds into what Catherine was saying. If you do fall ill, then report it to the hotel management. If you're with a tour operator, make sure their rep knows about it, and make sure that you keep all the details, or your friends do. And let's face it, it's far better not to get ill, because it doesn't just spoil your holiday, it spoils all the people you're travelling with. So street food, that's what I like. Seeing the stuff cooked in front of you, high turnover of people, lots of locals eating there. That's for me a very good sign.
I love that, because then you're throwing yourself into the culture, which I think that's what holiday's all about anyway. But that would be the thing I think people would be more wary of. They'd be more wary of the street food than they would the salad buffet, for example.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot to be said for being able to see all the food being properly cooked in front of you, rather than maybe you go out to a restaurant somewhere and you've got no idea what's happening backstage at the kitchen.
Yeah, some good top tips there. Thank you very much. Sam, I hope you have a jolly, lovely holiday experience the next time round. I really do.
Fingers crossed.
Catherine, anyone watching now, just a few words of advice from you if they think, actually, this is me, or I'm going away and it could be me.
Yes, I mean, research where you're going and what the potential risks are. If you do have a problem while you're away, come back and speak to someone who is a specialist in this sort of area, because it will make your life much easier in terms of the claiming process.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, Catherine, Simon and Sam, for joining us. And if you want to find out more about illness on holiday, then go to slatergordon.co.uk.